Hello, and welcome to another video. Been working on this little daytime protocol, little server here. So last time I chucked in some, what do you call it? So we probably need to do, interesting. Can I do it? Yeah, I can do it. I changed my Phoenix prefix and like some other hotkeys. But yeah, so I've done a thing. This is now running like 30 seconds for what is that, like 100k? No, million people in 30 seconds. It's not like super great. Like you can see I've put in more stats. We can get an average time of the connection, um, and like the max and the min, I guess. And we can also see how many times we have polled on average, which is a reasonably low count. But we also have quite a lot of active clients at a time, which is kind of cool. And down on the server, I might actually bump up the little font like that. Down on the server, we can see a similar thing. We have now got the time as well. And here the time will differ from what it is on the client, which was like in the hundreds. Here, the server only knows about the connection from the point it accepts the connection to the point it closes the connection. And in between, the client is actually the client has some stuff on either side of that window. So the client will make the connection before the server sees the connection, and then after the server closes the connection, the client actually waits until it hears that it's closed before it has finished. So that's kind of why the times there are a little different. So for context, changed the hotkey. In fact, I changed the hotkey in a way that I don't actually need the hotkey to get around. I've decided to do it that way. But there's actually the other server that I was running does a similar thing. This has like a bit more going on. So this will say how many things are like active at once and how many max, and it does it like per fork. So, well, in fact, this is actually single threaded. And then it will say how many are in the writing state. So the server has kind of three states. It gets a connection. At that point there, I suppose there's one state before there. It generates a date. And then it will write. And so it will be basically in a time of writing until it writes the entire buffer that it wants to write, which is the date. And at that point there, it then starts the shutdown process. So it says, I've written everything I want. You tell me when you've received it all, and then I'll close it. And so that's kind of the three things there. And here it also kind of shows average time. And like this is a bit lower, but it actually takes longer on the wall clock. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know how I generated that, but I guess we will stick to this. And like the difference between our version and that version is actually a few things. Our server is currently doing select, whereas that was using epoll. And this also, doesn't have as much stuff to print out. So what I will think I will do is I might actually get rid of some of these ridiculous hoods and whatnot. It was a little chilly, but it has warmed up sufficiently, I believe. I'm good for talking for a little. Anyhow, so what I think I'll do is, I guess I can briefly show the changes I did so I can get this. You can also see here that it notice we got a signal, which the other server that I wrote does handle signals in real time. But yeah, there were some other things that made it a bit worse. So what I will do is maybe just look at the diff. There isn't much going on with it. Maybe I'll look in the. Didn't know about that option. Cached is what I actually want. So this is kind of what I've added, and I've basically in the connection we record when it starts. We add a bunch more stuff to the stats. And then here we fix a little bug, print out all the stats that we have, fix another little bug that I came across. Here we did this little check to kind of, if we had a timer, it wouldn't close after it finished everything because it still thought it had more than one file descriptor to look at, which is correct. It had the timer, but now I've just kind of made it go look after the base, which is either 0 or it is 1, depending on whether the timer is a thing or not. And then here we basically do a bit more stats collecting. So as well as adding to the active, we also check whether the active that we got is actually bigger than the max active. And this little loop here is kind of like a compare while greater than. And so while we are greater than the last max active than we saw, the active that we got, and that active will never change. We then try and change it, but we'll do a compare and then change. And so what this will do, it will basically check what the value of this is and atomically check it with whatever value is in max active. And if it is equal, then we will set it to whatever active is. And if it is not equal, it will set max active to be what it actually is at the current second. And if it was right, then it will return true, so then it will break out of this. Otherwise, we are kind of in a spin loop. It's just what it is. And so at this point here, we spin loop out, and potentially we could add less on to this, but I think it didn't actually show too many. I figured out there was a bug where I was getting the min active and setting it to the max active and then doing this check, and it was kind of redundant check, but yeah, now it seems to be doing a bit better. Here when we start the connection, we make sure that we so the diff was it's gone, it's now new, but down here now the diff is just, it's only showing what's new. This is the diff tool that I'm using currently. And so we do a similar thing when we poll some stuff. We basically count how many things we're polling. And here when we get the status, what we do is we actually get a copy of the status, show that copy, and then we add the whatever the active count there was into the total, and that's for showing the average active, which is like this count here. And so that's doing an average, doing a sample every time we're doing the timer. That's just how this one works. A little syntax, like these were padded out. Now I pull them back in. Here's where the connection finished. So at this point here, we work out what the time is and then do a difference and do lots of things. And then we add it to the total time so we can get an average time and all that. And then we also do the max and the min time, which are set correctly. And then we basically stack collection. We don't print out that stuff because, I don't know, we're slowly putting in our own stuff. We currently aren't seeing how many things we're allocating, which could be a useful thing to chuck out there, I guess. And then here we have gone back to, now it's just only new stuff. And here we are basically doing the same thing. This is like the case where we are running sub jobs, and then one where we're just running one job. And then we basically say when we exit. Server has pretty similar stuff. So we get the time, we get the actor, but we set a max as well. We get the end time, we compare the difference of the time. And then here, there was a little bug. Instead of subbing failed, we were going negative, which negative on a size T is a very large positive. Instead, we want to add the fact that we failed. It only really shows up if you kill the client while the server is still running, because the server's like, whoa, what happened to my connection? It prints out an error and says that. Cool, and that's basically all the stuff in my diff. So if I go down there, I can check I didn't have any more stuff. Yeah, I wanted to add that as well. And now we can kind of commit here, add more stats. Cool, and so now what I want to do is, if the server is slow and clunky and whatnot, and I want to make it quicker by taking, basically select. In fact, we could almost do a global replace with select with poll. And then we'll just let the compiler let us know what is wrong with all of that. So we're going to makefile now. So we don't have poll, we need to include it. So here we go, include poll.h. Thank you very much. Now it will kind of tell us a few more things, because poll doesn't take this. It takes FDs, then the number of file descriptors, then timeout. We've done this before with, in fact, I could potentially open it just to see how it's done there. So here we kind of show that we have FDs, and why did I do the mouse? I was here and I could have just done like W even, and so that is just in there. What I might do is let's do that, and I made it so I didn't even need to go there. Let's do that. Cool. And then here, so my prefix key used to be Control J, which Control J is also the key that can go up and down windows in Vim, which can sometimes be handy. Yeah, so now I changed it to Control A. The default is actually Control B. I use Control B in a few places. So in here, we can go Alt B to go backward, Alt F to go forward. We can go Control B to just go back a character, and Control F to go there. And there's basically 4 keys that I want to keep similar. We've got the Alt back, and then the Control back, which is for a word and a character, and it's a pretty similar thing. Control A takes me back to the start of the string, but I can kind of just or do that with or. Don't know what just happened there. I've got some things here. So this, that kind of did. Yeah, I don't know what that flicked up on the screen, but cool. I actually want that over there. I love how things change on you sometimes. Anyhow, Control A will take me to the start of the word. Control E to the end. I could potentially change Control A to be something else. I don't know, but I can also do Control A space, which I kind of made as like the I don't know. And I guess I could also even do Alt A. Like that could be my prefix. I don't know if that's yeah, interesting. I don't know. Some things to do, and I want to do that. This combination, yeah, that one. Cool. So what I'll do is back in server, we go up to where we are. Yeah, and so this is doing here. So we want to have like a similar macro. We'll start off small. Or what happened there? I want to go back to that. I've got what do you call it? Home row mods, which means sometimes if I type too quick, weird stuff like that happens. So we now have FDs, and so I guess we potentially want this, but we already have a status, so we can potentially go, so like, it's kind of here, so I think we can potentially do something like this and do something like that. I don't know why that reckons that shouldn't come back in. So this can be timer FD, which we do kind of get. And do the same there, I guess. And so what this is doing is we now have a base. So this read write we need to get rid of. So last does have a thing. Well, listen does have a thing. So what we need to do is kind of bump that up. I think I want to do that after the timer though. I see what I'm doing, I think. Yeah, I'm pushing Alt J for some reason. I must have thought that was why. I think I sometimes do that. It's interesting, like you change a hotkey and then you find out all the mistakes that you were kind of making in the old one. Because I wasn't really expecting Control J to be doing anything. Control J should be going up and down through my windows. So what I want to do here is perhaps over here we can maybe just set that to timer FD, and I've done that again. I must have done that as a little habit. Interesting. So if we do that, and then here, I think if listen FD is greater than last, then do we even need to care about last? Oh, we don't need to care about last. Let's get rid of this notion of last. Last is only for poll. You need to tell it, hey, check up to this point because we didn't keep track. But poll is we're using a contiguous array of poll FD structures, which tell us what we want. It's kind of just iterating up through the kernels. ways of doing things. So, if listen FD is here, we kind of just want it always to be a thing. Is that kind of what I'm expecting? But we always want the whilst the server listen socket is still there, we want to be round, and it's just going to be in there. So I guess because of that, I might actually do something like this. And what key do I want there? I keep doing it. Sorry, folks. Or it could be that I push escape out of habit. So you can see here it flashes. But in the time between I push escape and then push J, it's actually sending a escape J. It's kind of interesting because sometimes I will just push escape to make sure I'm out of every mode in Vim. Interesting. So this what are we doing? We can see how many NFTs we have. What I might do is potentially like how do we I can't. Maybe I'll just close that. And we were in the server there. I'll also close that and do that, and that way. Now I just won't do it, and I'll work out that keyboard shortcut because I think I will probably push escape then J enough times that will get over the benefit of what I was trying to achieve. Right, so if that is the case, we can do that. This is an FD, thanks. Then we can put you over here. Cool. And so now we don't have this. And so how does this do it? We do like a bunch of other stuff that we don't need to care about. That's making connections. We don't really need to worry about making connections. We just care about this. Yeah, so we will poll and we'll do FDs and NFDs and -1. Perfect. That would be that. And I guess similar poll stuff, status stuff. I like it. I just did a like search replace and it kind of worked. Now, here's the point that we actually need to do something different. So if we look over here, if we look at this, we kind of do this. And we actually already have a timer empty. If this is greater than 0, I guess, and if this is that, then we can just because we're checking that. Cool. So if that is the case, if it is that. Otherwise, if FD equal listen FD, we need to do some things. So that would just be this. And that's probably. I think I want that sort of thing. Um, and if it is something else, that kind of just means that it's timer. Is that like roughly what we were doing? I believe that is. Yes. Right. We don't really care about all that. Perhaps we uh, get rid of. Oh, but here we do actually care about. We kind of want to stop accepting things if we. Maybe we don't. I don't know. Um, so here we kind of need to say, I guess we need to pass in. Well, what do we pass in for this old bad boy? We get a connection now. Is that something that we? So this we like are doing a map for each. We're doing for each over, whereas here we like looping over the pole object. Yeah, so we would kind of go away from this and move into the connection type thing there. But I guess the handle pole would manage that. So potentially here we can something like this, and that just do something like that. We don't care about last. We don't care about last. And so this way I guess if we look at the handle listener, we do kind of want to bail out if we are accepting too many. So I guess here, um, can we just do something like this? I think we can. Max events. So if that is the case, then if we can do stuff, then do stuff. Yes, that's kind of what I want. Just make sure that we don't get too many things to what we can handle. And so I guess that means that here we kind of need to pass in the FDs and whatnot. Here we kind of do the magic ourselves, but here we don't really make connections. So I guess here we need to pass in the FDs, and we probably also need to pass in the NFDs, but maybe as a pointer. And that will be FDs. Perfect. And so we won't have readables, writables. So here we would just have struct whole FD FDs, and then we'd have a NFDs T pointer to our NFDs. And then we just don't care about these things. Right, cool. So what is happening at this point? We are like creating a thing. So we don't care about that. Well, maybe we do care about. No, we don't really care about this. There's no max size that it can be. Well, there is kind of. Like, I guess that max events, we should maybe make that a little thing like that. Oh yes, so then FDs, this can actually be is that kind of what I would do? I feel like I do just want to have a pointer to it, but perhaps it would have. Yeah, I would have just kind of done it. Right, so at this point here, we kind of want to do that little look. So we would do context slash FDs and so this is adding to the end. So we can go context slash NFDs plus plus. Do we need a? No, we shouldn't need this context. I believe is part of the. Yeah, it's just a static thing. Cool. So here we would set this to be a new whole FD, and the FD will be FD, and the event that we want is right. So events equals whole out, which is reflected by the next right that we were trying to do. Raise subscript. That is because we. Is this how I do it? And will that will that do the thing that I think that it will do? So at this point here, we want to delete it from the thing. So this is a more interesting point, that the handle right. So handle right is all done in handle poll. And so I guess if if anything happens in handle poll, we kind of want to do this sort of thing. So I guess in handle poll, we want to say whether the connection died or not. I think. For whatever reason. Um, and as handle poll, it's expecting a FD and a connection. So FD was actually going to be there, and we also want a connection. So I guess here we should do this sort of thing. And like maybe I think I need to kind of break this handle pole out and no longer have a handle pole. I think that is just kind of what it will have to be. Because we're not really passing in the R events. I mean, I could pass in the R events. So if uh, if there was something invalid or closed or something, then we'll get rid of it. Otherwise, we'll get the connection. And here, I guess we need to do if events and oh, wow. In fact, why waste time when I can do something like this? And that whole thing is doing a thing. So if we have a poll in, we are handling the read. And that should hopefully just do the same thing. And here we are. What are we returning? We're returning 1 when we finish and 0 when we can't do anything more, and 1 when there's an error. Perfect. So, and that kind of makes sense here. So that remove connection was doing some stuff like this. Well, it was adding it to a linked list of nodes. That's right. But we don't really need to do that anymore. So in handle read down here, we will check for this and we can just remove it then and there and work out the thing. Kind of add it to the time. And is all this just yeah, so all that is just reading. So now we need to handle the right, I guess. So it was kind of nice having it in a different place. We don't actually have a right because that's only really part of the server logic. But I feel like that logic is still kind of similar. So here we have pull out, and if that is the case, then we would do this. We probably want to see what this kind of returns as well, because this would potentially close the connection. We're not really tracking the shutdown states at the moment, but this is kind of where it would all happen. So if it is failure, we would just do a little fail case. So I guess the fail case would be something similar to this. And something like that. Otherwise, it has just handled the right. What's happening up here? So that's if all of this needs to be yoinked up a tad. And can we find where it thinks we're going and maybe put one there? So here we kind of just done that, and now we don't need to really do any deleting things. But I guess that means that when we delete things, we should probably be doing a close on the FD. I feel like this should be happening in a few places, like do something like that. Whenever kind of we're coming up, maybe whenever this is happening. And what's happening there? That's just the timer FD. Do something like that. Yes. Cool. So what's going on now? Right. So I feel like what am I missing down here? That's just looping over the whole thing. So I feel like I might have successfully looped over the whole thing. I do close it. I don't need to care about the thing. Do we need to free some connections? Nah, this code already did it. And so I guess that is also doing the sub of active. So what does this look like? That logic's already done. Oh, is it? Is it? Yeah, so I think here I want to do a return defer, and we'll do a 1 there. Or was it a 2? So now we will have to do a little switch on this whole thing doesn't need to exist anymore. But yeah, we need a and that means we aren't using these two. No. Do something like that. All right. So we do like a switch on handle read. On handle write, we want to do a similar thing. And then we can do a switch on read. If it is exit failure, then we will be doing all of this. If it is exit success, we'll just do a break. And is that like roughly what we did up there? We do a continue. Maybe I can make that continue. I just realized this is no longer where I thought it was. No, that's all cool. But maybe bring that back just so I can keep an eye. Cool. So what do we need to do in the case of being two? And we can potentially have a default as well, which will be the same thing here. So if it is a 2, what I want to do is actually go FDs of I dot events equal and what was it that we're return star 2 in where I took it away, didn't I? Get diff just the current file things, and when I do a shutdown, so I was setting it to be read. So here we can be pull in. And then next time around, it should pick up that. Cool. So what's it thinking now? Here we need to I think I do need this to be like that. And does that mean that we do it there? So I think this, I want a context session if is greater than equal to max events. Something like that. Come on, let me escape. Cool. Then we can just do some context session. Um, I kind of like it being here. Maybe something like that. I don't know. It's just an error message. Just to make sure that we're not putting it too far over. Now we don't have any of that stuff. C is not declared. Is that because C is on text? Well, actually, we don't have a connection here. Uh, Oh, see now this one's in a different order. Alright. Well, it actually told me what order it was, so I could just read. So this is wanting a file descriptor, then it's wanting a connection, and then it wants the context. C undeclared. So I think I want to do like a something like that. And then we can just do that. And it's just the same thing. And this is probably just wants this at the end, right? This is just that. Just take me to the next one, please. This, all right, so we don't have a last plus one. All right, so this down here, when we do, so we probably do have another poll like we do here. So this is going to be a similar thing. NFTs, T NFTs equals for count plus one. And well, NFTs is greater than 0, and do that. So here we don't care about this nonsense, and we this is going to be polls, NFTs, and -1. And so this kind of means this is defined somewhere. So that's at the start here. So we can, I don't know, shove that somewhere there. And it means that we probably also do a calip to it, I guess, at some point. So perhaps at this point here, seems appropriate. And so what else does polls get up to? We also set polls up here when we do fork FDs. So at this point here, we do that instead of doing that. And so I guess this fork set, we kind of want to get rid of wherever it is. It's there. So here we do that. And we have it again here. What do we do? Well, when do we next use it? Pose. We do that instead of that. Yeah, that makes a bit more sense. Cool. So at this point here, now we want to do this little loop here. We don't bother checking what the actual event is. Do we? We don't care about that. We do that. We wonder if that should be on the other side as well. Anyhow, what do I need to do here? So this, I need to do something like this, and we can just put that there for clarity. And I feel like this should probably be there as well. And what are we doing? We're doing a continue from there. Cool. when else do we use it? So instead we have else there, perfect. And I mean, this could probably just be the same as can we do something like that? Things like it's likely just the same. Yeah, that looks all good. And so here we don't care about polled. Perfect. And what was down the ends there? It was just doing that same old check there. Cool. So now that just compiles. Perfect. So now I think I will do that sort of thing. And just work out how how the way. Cool. Perfect. So at this point here, I want to do a server. Do we have this? Yeah. So I can just run the server there, and perhaps I will also do something like this. Don't want to lock there. I want to do something like that. Now I can sig into here, and now I can do the client. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, look at that. No time at all. Right, so we need to run client ASM. And maybe we'll just do the 4 cores. Cool. So all of these, like I'm showing things behind the scenes. So maybe I'll split this and do a little clock. Do a little clock, and then look at that. But perhaps I'll have it down there. And here. So here we can kind of hopefully start to have a bit of a status board type thing. So we're getting a lot of fails actually. I just noticed that it is saying that we're failing lots. And we're not handling much. But we did get responses, so I do wonder whether the failed is just not being done right. And it's something we can check. So when do we do failed this thing here? So could be there. See, the thing is, we might get a poll. If we get a failure, if we do this, we close the connection. We don't do a failed. All right, so I guess here, what I can do is try and find whereabouts it was that hit the failed. It's hitting it a bit there, but maybe here we can kind of see if might have been that area. So we can kind of do that. So this one looks like it was the one. If we get rid of that one and go back here, we can recompile that again and run it. And okay, so we still get it here as well. So, and is that the only 2 places? 1, 2, and then we're back to the start. Yeah. Interesting. I think I'll look at that another time because to me it looks like it is working. So if we go netcat localhost, we get a result. If I didn't do this word count, we're getting a lot of dates and it's printing the dates. And I could tell that was working because when when this finished, it actually prints out the number of things that it got. And it doesn't actually check that it is a valid date, I guess, but I could do it, just check for 2025, I guess, and then do a word count again. It will have the same response, but to the server, it still seems like that is got some issues. Interesting. Anyhow, I'll figure out what it is and commit that up, I guess. But I suppose what I can do is have a quick little. Oh, let's undo that. Oh, what did I do there? See, now I don't know what hotkey that was. Cool. Like, I don't know. Well, anyway, thank you very much for coming to see this. I feel like this webcast, so it would be on i3. Oh, I don't really want to. Yes, we already have it here. Cool. So we did lose a window. It's kind of interesting. Anyhow, I feel like that is quicker. I can't recall what any speeds were, but let's see what some later speeds were. 100k in 1 minute 45 seconds. So that is 100k in 1.45. It's slower. All right. Well, it's also doing some weird things. I feel like I just need to work out what the weird things are. But I guess for now, that can be that, and I might come back to it and work it out. Until then, farewell.